massive, gigantic hospital that can take care of all the people that traveled abroad and pay and spend hundreds of millions of pounds in the UK alone. Now, Lagos has the capacity to build one massive, gigantic hospital that can take care of all the people that traveled abroad and pay and spend hundreds of millions of pounds in the UK alone.
Àṣàyàn ọ̀rọ̀ ló ń dé sójú ìwòran yín láti ilé iṣẹ́ ìkànnì Wo TV níbi tí a ti máa ń mú wá fún yín lára lọ́tún ọ̀tún. Èyí tí mo mú wá fún yín láàárọ̀ yìí òun ni àwòrán tí mo fẹ́ fi wọ̀nyí tó ní ṣe pẹ̀lú àwọn alágbára orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà. Ẹ ó gbọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ lẹ́nu Máyégún tó jẹ́ ààrẹ sọ̀rọ̀sọ̀rọ̀. Ní báyìí ẹ jẹ́ kí a gbọ́ nǹkan tí wọ́n ní sọ fún wa.
Now, Lagos has the capacity to build one massive, gigantic hospital that can take care of all the people that traveled abroad and pay and spend hundreds of millions of pounds in the UK alone, hundreds of millions of dollars in America, hundreds of millions of euro in this Europe, entire Europe. That money can make Lagos State not just the richest state in Nigeria, can possibly make it the richest in Africa. Now, we are talking about creating wealth, Abi, and using the circumstances you found yourself to create. When you create solution, you also create wealth. Lagos State government, according to their record, the record which is what they gave to us, Lagos State government is generating nothing less than 450 billion naira a year. I know they pay salaries, they have to do other things and all of that. Great. Lagos State government is in debt. After Nigeria, the next highest indebted state in Nigeria is Lagos State with a debt of over 1.2 trillion naira. Now, let's say, what did they invest that money on? They used the money to build businesses that they borrowed the money in the name of Lagos State, used the proceeds of that money to further their own personal businesses that they never pay tax themselves, and Lagos State continue to fund that debt, and you, the people, will have to continue to drink agbo, continue to drink our ale and everything to keep yourself fit. No, I mean, at least fit for the next day if you will survive it. Now, Lagos has that capacity, but they couldn't do it for 22 years. Lagos State, how Tifnumbu looted Lagos State, and from all they have, from all they made, they are unable to build just one standard hospital. They will tell you, when coronavirus came, you saw how they quickly put up tents, put up this and that. They couldn't transform that into something that they can say, wow, maybe this is the time for us to actually build a real people-serving healthcare system. But this is why they won't build one. Okay, there's this article online detailing what they did to Lagos State, right, under Tifnumbu, and those who carried out the subsequent rape of Lagos State and the Lagos State people, and those who copied them from other parts of Yoruba land, doing the same thing to our people. I just gave you an idea of what it will take to build an hospital, and also what it takes to fund it. I can break that down for you. But again, let's read this first. The rape of Lagos State. It's not new. You can read it online yourself. I'll read word for word. So, before they made the Okuwari presidiot. And let me also say this to you again. Some will say, well, how come they have not jailed him? How come the Code of Conduct Tribunal did not send him to court? It's because the system that they have in Nigeria, will keep him and they will jail him whenever they want to jail him. For now, this is part of the compromise of what they have on him. Things that will make him never to stand up and condemn the killings and the destruction of farmland, the killings of our people, and including how our people have become refugees in Benin Republic. That today, the reason why we never stand up and speak ever is because of things like this. And that's more reason why they never let him be your president judge. I'll come to that because there's more. Tinubu's massive looting of Lagos, which is uncovered, the Shaguri, the Remi Tinubu connection. Now, the massive looting of Lagos State by the leader of ACA back then, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, has reached monumental proportion. Tinubu, whose companies recently cornered a multi-billion road construction job in Ogun State, has in his pocket all the juicy contracts in all the Action Congress states, the rape of Yoruba land. In retrospect, it might be difficult to come to terms with the fact that an individual could hold the entire Southwest to ransom. There is no doubt that Tinubu has succeeded in buying the Lagos State government, and he has done this using government funds. Whenever someone in Lagos begins to wonder where their fourth mainland bridge went, or what was the fate of the pipe-borne water project, or even where the schools and hospitals had vanished to, there is a silence that contains it all. The largest landlord in Lagos has done as he has pleased, and the rest of the states just has to deal with it. For instance, number 4, Oyinkan Abayomi, formerly Queen's Drive, Ikoyi, a 5-bedroom detached house on 1 acre of land, which was originally the Lagos State Governor's guest house since 1979, but which now belongs to Tinubu. The certificate of occupancy of the property, valued at 450 million naira, was signed and released to him by Fashola in 2007, shortly after he assumed office. Tinubu's residence at number 26, Bodilon Road, Ikoyi, was initially falsely presented as Ohando PLC guest house. Later, he purportedly bought it from Ohando and used public funds to rebuild and renovate it. The Lagos State government bought the property and paid an undisclosed sum to him, and thereafter gave the property back to him under the bogus pension bill he signed to law shortly before he left office in 2007. The property is now worth over 600 million. This was way back. This was like 6 years ago. The annex of the Lagos State, the annex of Lagos State Guest House in Asokoro, Abuja, was bought by the state government in 2006 for 450 million naira, purportedly to protect the main house from security breach. Shortly after Tinubu left office, the property was transferred to him under the pension plan he signed into law before leaving office. The 250 acre land, valued at about 35 billion naira, and strategically located at the Ajah Junction on Lekki Road.
Is fundraising your superpower or your kryptonite? If you are a fundraising wonder, then our training probably isn't for you.
Was initially meant for a general hospital, bracket that, general hospital, a land meant for general hospital, valued at 35 billion naira 6 years ago. Maybe it's probably about 300 billion naira now. Value of the land, inflation and the rest of that. The land, 250 hectare of land. So they said, meant for a general hospital for the people of Etiosa local government, but was stolen by Tinubu and handed over to Trojan Estate Limited, a company owned by Deji and Wale Tinubu, to develop as Royal Garden Housing Estate at the expense of the taxpayers of Lagos. The 1,000 hectares of land, valued at about 75 billion naira, located at Lakowe near Abijo at Ibejuleki local government area, and given to Lekki Concession Company LCC, which is partly owned by Tinubu and Fashola, and being developed as golf course, and Housing Estates by Asset and Resource Management Limited, ARM, as Adiva projects. The prime land of 157 hectares with 2.5 kilometer of Atlantic beach fronts, valued at about 10 billion naira, and stolen by Tinubu from the communities of Shiriwon, Igbekodo, Apaki, etc., in the Bejuleki local government, and given to Ibukunfakeye, his crony, to build a golf course and luxury villa with little or no compensation to the villagers. In addition, Tinubu paid $20 million, 3 billion naira, as at that time, out of public treasury to Ibukunfakeye to commence the project in late 2006. Fashola has since released additional funding for this project, which is not owned by the state government. The 14-acre Parkview Ikoyi Estate foreshore land reclaimed by Lagos state government is now owned by Bola Tinubu. While in office, he allocated to himself the former Strabag yard beside the Lagos State Secretariat at Alausa, Ikeja. The property is now being developed into a shopping mall. It is already developed now, as big as the Palms in Lekki. This is public property brazenly stolen and now owned by Tinubu, aided by Fashola and others that came after them. The choice property at Lekki Ekpe Road, on which he built and owns the multi-billion-naira Oriental Hotel and the extension of multi-story car park beside it. Also, the multi-level recreation center by Mobile in Oniru Estates on Lekki Ekpe Road, jointly owned with ARM and Tuji Olowolafe. All these assets, valued at over 25 billion naira, were obtained without paying a kobo to the Lagos state government. Tinubu and Fashola sold the following prime Lagos properties to their personal friends and friends. Prince Depo Eludoyin at very ridiculous prices. The 3.8 hectares of land of Lagos State Fisheries Office in VI, beside the Institute of Oceanography, valued at 3 billion naira. The entire Ogudu foreshore scheme, initially earmarked for a low-cost housing scheme, valued at 5 billion naira. The Ilubirin Housing Estates, which used to house Lagos State civil servants and judges up till 2007, valued at 2 billion naira. The former Julius Baja yard at Oko Orison, Ekpe, valued at 450 million naira. Tinubu raised a loan of 4.7 billion naira on Eko Akete projects, for which nothing was achieved before he turned around to sell the property to his Shaguri friends of Shaguri and High-Tech Construction Limited at a ridiculously low price at the expense of the taxpayers of Lagos. Tinubu applied to personally purchase the Federal Secretariat building while in office. When he couldn't get to buy it, he directed Fashola to stop the eventual owner of the complex to develop it. The complex is presently wasting away, courtesy of the Lagos State government. It took several months of us trading and underhand payment before Fashola could allow the new owners of 1,004 flats to redevelop the complex. Several other buyers of the federal government properties and developers of properties in Ikoyi, Victoria Island and Government Reservation Area Ikeja, GRA, were forced to succumb to the outrageous demand of Tinubu, Fashola, Commissioner Bosede back then, and other officials of the Lagos State Physical Planning Ministry, and were made to pay ridiculous amounts to private accounts before their redevelopments were approved. Those who refused or were unable to pay could not develop their properties. This is a major economic strangulation of property developers and has contributed largely to the skyrocketing rents in Ikoyi, VI, and Lekki axis. Tinubu converted all the plots of land where Lagos Polytechnic was located at Ikosi, near the old toll gate. He chased away the Polytechnic in 2006 and went ahead to allocate the choice plots to himself, his cronies, and political associates. The headquarters of Television Continental TVC, which is owned by him, is located there. He deprived the youth of Lagos of decent education because of his greed. Because they eventually created the army of Agberos, who are now the army of Omotars, the Lagos Abobakus. You know what I'm talking about. He destroyed them. They are watching me right now. Tinubu solely sold the prime land on Aboyade Coal, Victoria Island, which was recovered from some allottees, to UACN Properties PLC. The amount of proceeds was shrouded in secrecy. Eludoi, fronting for Tifnumbu.
Download the Ola app now to get vouchers worth up to £25 with 5 layers of safety.
Built the estate directly opposite Goshen Beach Estate in Lekki area. Tifnumbu's wife, Remi Tifnumbu, built the massive New Era Foundation Youth Camp at the junction of Eleko off the Lekki-Epe Express Road with Lagos State funds and has now converted it to personal use. Tifnumbu owns the Farah Park Estate and the Beechwood Estate, both in Lekki. The critical care unit at the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, Lassuth. This is about healthcare now. The critical care unit at the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, Lassuth in Ikeja, built and equipped with state funds, is now owned personally by Tifnumbu. He has put one Dr. Sikiru Tinumbu, a supposed cousin of his, to run the outfit. It is run as a private unit, and the proceeds are pocketed by the duo. The unit charges its users exorbitantly, and most Lagosians can hardly afford to pay its high charges. Much of the revenue derived from fees paid by the state government for patients referred there by its general hospital. So they make money from that too, to personal pockets. Several prominent Nigerians in the judiciary, police, INEC, and other sensitive agencies have obtained prime land from former Governor Tifnumbu and incumbent Governor then Fashola, and then that's the Saleko Barack Obama, over the years without paying a kobo. Many of them are turned around to sell the land to third parties at substantial profits. Many top officials in the police, INEC, and the judiciary who participated in the 2003 and 2007 elections and tribunals in states where Tifnumbu has interest were compromised with parcel of free prime Lagos land and cash. If the Lagos State Lands Bureau could publish the names of the identities of beneficiaries of land allottees from 2000 to date, the scandal that will result is better imagined.
What are you eating?
Benga Shafa, who is then a senator, and Mrs. Awufisayo were the conduits through which these acts were being perpetrated. Both were also personally involved in various dubious land transactions on their own. Prime land and properties have been used to pay off public officials who are personally close to Tifnumbu and Fashola for jobs well done or for being privy to sensitive information, notably. A. Dele Alake, former Commissioner for Information and Strategy, was sold a whole house on Alexandra Road, Ikoyi, where he lived as official quarters at a giveaway price. Aregbemubo, Rauf Aregbemubo, Osun State Governor, then, who is now a minister, who was a former commissioner in Lagos, as well as Muiz Banire, also a former commissioner, got detached houses at Ladoke Akintola Street, GRA, Ikeja, for their good job while serving under Tifnumbu. Yemi Kadoso and Wale Edun, both former commissioners, were sold houses in Iru Close and another location in Old Ikoyi at giveaway prices by Tifnumbu. These were loyalists, these were boys who were loyal. They were able to know what Oga had and where Oga had money and what they needed to do to cover it up and the rest of that.
ọ̀rọ̀ lẹ ti gbọ́ lẹ́nu Máyégún yẹn o. Gbogbo èyí tó ṣẹlẹ̀, èyí táwọn náà rí tí wọ́n mọ̀, òun ni wọ́n ti fi hàn wá yẹn. Ẹ̀yin ti rí, àwa náà ti rí. Àmọ́ ó tún ṣì kù, òun náà nìbọn máa ń ró nítorí pé iṣẹ́ ṣì ń lọ lọ́wọ́. Àwa ń lọ báyìí láti tẹ̀síwájú lẹ́nu ìwádìí tí àwa ń ṣe. tí àwọn àṣàyàn ọ̀rọ̀ míì bá tún jẹyọ léyìí tó jẹ́ ká mú wá sí ojú ìwòran yín ẹ ó tún padà rí wa. Bákan náà ẹ kú ìwòran ẹ sì kú òwúrọ̀ ẹ máa bá wa bọ̀.